All systems go. Clear for liftoff.
Hello, welcome to this weekend's NASCAR Quick Hit here for Ship It Nation. I am Eric, also known as The Game on Discord, and this afternoon we will be discussing the Autotrader 400 taking place at the racetrack formerly known as Atlanta Motor Speedway, now known as Echo Park Speedway. But before we go ahead and before we go ahead and break down the slate, let me of course mention us. ShipItNation.com, your one-stop shop for all things DFS. If you haven't joined the nation, you absolutely owe it to yourself to do so, because we have everything. NFL, college football, they just wrapped up, with the NBA, we're in full swing there post All-Star break. PGA ongoing right now. Major League Baseball spring training is here. MMA, there's a fight night tonight. NASCAR, that's why we're all here. And of course, NHL will return after the break. So if you haven't joined the nation yet, you do owe it to yourself to do so. And of course, we now have trials. Yes, folks, trials. We've never had trials before. We do now. So if you want to try the nation, you can do so. Daily, $9. Try the nation. $9 gets you all access, the core all access. No Discord access with that daily $9 trial. However, if you pivot to the $19 5-day trial, you do get everything in the all access core plus Discord access. So daily $9 trial, no Discord, 5 days, $19 trial with Discord. Pretty fantastic if you haven't joined the nation already. And of course, we have our all access plans for a year, $79 for a month, $109 for the month for the all access starter kit, the all access ultimate, $249 a month, etc., etc. Everything you need for DFS. ShipItNation.com. Plus, I forgot to mention, we're partnered with SaberSim, the #1 optimizer sim tool in the nation today. ShipItNation.com. You owe it. Join us. All right, let me go ahead and share this tab. Perfect. And let me get my notes up here. Even better. All right. All right, folks. Last week, when doing the Daytona 500 video, I mentioned that I really wanted to quicken up these quick hit videos. And guess what? This week, I'll be doing just that, because we really don't have too much to talk about, because Saturday's Cup qualifying session was rained out and the starting lineup was set via the Matrix. So essentially, our starting order this week is how the Daytona 500 finished last week. Last week for the 500, we focused on purely stacking the back, which means we only focused on place differential plays. And for the most part, we will be doing the same this weekend. However, I did want to highlight 5 potential Dominator plays that are starting in the front half of the field that I feel you should consider adding to your player pool, because Atlanta Motor Speedway, Echo Park Speedway, underwent a configuration change at the start of the 2022 race season, and this racetrack is much more of a super speedway drafting track than it is a traditional 1.5 mile cookie cutter racetrack. However, as this racetrack surface has aged, handling and tire wear have absolutely come into play, and we have seen this race dominated by someone starting near the front before. And actually, as I'm recording this video, the truck race is going right on, and handling and tire wear are absolutely coming into play. Plus, to throw another wrench into things, Goodyear is bringing a brand new right side tire. to Echo Park Speedway this year, which in theory should produce even more tire wear. Now, Goodyear has stated that this tire they are bringing is much more in line with the other 1.5 mile tires they bring to racetracks. However, this is the first time we're seeing it here at Atlanta, and we didn't even see them qualify on the tires. So the first time they use these tires will be during the race on Sunday. So this week, I won't be doing a full field rundown because there's really not much on-track product to currently talk about from this weekend. Instead, I'll just be picking out some drivers that you should strongly consider for your player pool. And hopefully the weather works out for us next week and we get practice at COTA. So we actually have some current information to talk about. All right, that's my pre-prepared notes for everything I didn't want to miss. So now let's just go off the top of my head and talk about some of these drivers. So first things first, let's talk about the Dominator plays. It's not going to be any surprise. Tyler Reddick, Joey Logano, Chase Elliott, Brad Kay, and William Byron will probably be everybody's favorite Dominator style plays if you're playing any at all. And for good reason. They're all excellent super speedway racers. We just saw Tyler Reddick win the Daytona 500 last week. He's starting on the pole. He has the best shot to keep it out front and stay there. Joey Logano is fantastic at Atlanta. Like, new Atlanta, Logano is phenomenal. We put him on the thumbnail before we knew he was starting outside pole because he's so good. And I think on quick look, he might be. No, Chase Elliott has him beat on odds. But he's plus 1,000 compared to Chase's plus 800. He is and Ryan Blaney plus 900. So it looks like Logano is the third on the books person to win, and for good reason. Excellent here in Atlanta. Chase Elliott, my next Dominator play. Again, excellent in Atlanta. And this is all excellent at New Atlanta. Members, when you are looking at the stone and you see these power rankings, these track rankings, this is only for new reconfigured Atlanta, which is from 2022 on. It doesn't include any of the previous configuration. So you can take these track ranks as pretty much gospel for how they do at this newly configured Atlanta. So Chase Elliott, excellent. Brad Keselowski, also excellent all around. Great super speedway racer, very patient. Ford's very good at super speedway. So is Brad Kay. His broken leg isn't going to come into play this weekend. Sure might next weekend at COTA, but it won't impact him here this weekend. And last but most certainly not least, William Byron. Excellent super speedway racer, excellent in Atlanta, excellent all-around player. So Reddick, Logano, Elliott, Keselowski, Willie B, those would be my favorite potential Dominator plays if you're going to play one. And if you do play one, I kind of only recommend playing at least or at most one of them. Because you're really just trying to capture those laps led, since fast laps are going to be spread out all across the board. And we're really just taking a shot that one of these five or will be the one that ends up leading this pack, since we didn't see any practice or qualifying. Those are just the best drivers at Atlanta, the best, in my opinion, current super speedway drivers who are starting on the upper half of the field. So you definitely owe it to yourself to strongly consider those five, but I really would only play one of them per lineup. Looking back at looking at some other drivers who might be worth some consideration, Riley Herbst, Bubba Wallace, they were up front last week with Tyler Reddick at the Daytona 500. They're totally fine plays. Ricky Stenhouse Jr., he's really good at super speedways, not the best at Atlanta, surprisingly. So I probably won't get too much of him. But if you're looking to pivot off of one of these front drivers, he's definitely acceptable. Chris Buescher is also acceptable to Brad Kay. He's plus 22 in the books compared to Brad's plus 15. So fine there. And Suarez won Atlanta last year, I think, in the photo finish, right, for Trackhouse. So he's also an acceptable play. Looking further deep into the field, now we get our preferred cash type plays, and they jump out like crazy. These will be probably everybody's cash plays, so probably a cash train tomorrow. Ryan Blaney starting at 22nd. He has been phenomenal here. He just hasn't yet to have a win to cap it off, but that can come at any time, including on Sunday. Denny Hamlin, fantastic super speedway racer, one of the top in the series. Would not at all be surprised to see him towards the front of the field. Same goes for Christopher Bell. Same goes for Chase Briscoe. Chase Briscoe was on the pole last week and led a lot of the race. And Alex Bowman. Probably everybody's favorite cash plays, also fantastic for GPPs as well. I do not have projections or ownership ran yet, but I am assuming they will be very heavily owned. So just like last week, if you're looking to get different, I would absolutely make sure you have exposure to those drivers, but do not be afraid to pivot off of them. For example, Ryan Blaney to Ross Chastain. That's just one position, and it's $2,000 cheaper. Or Ryan Blaney to Eric Jones. You're saving $4,000, right? And Eric Jones is a pretty good little super speedway racer. Ryan Preece, he's been good at super speedways. Solid ever since he got in that RFK car. Cole Custer, we highlighted him last week. He was up towards the front near the end. There's no reason why he couldn't do it. Austin Cindric, Team Penske. We talked about Logano. We talked about Blaney. We haven't talked about Cindric. Cindric starts the deepest of them all. There's no reason why he can't get to the front. Zilich, he was okay last week. Did he, have a race to write home about? Absolutely not. Was he totally fine for his first ever Cup Super Speedway race? Absolutely. I have no problem playing him. Dillon, sure. Excellent Super Speedway racer. Richard Childress seems to have excelled a little bit in the I shouldn't say excelled a little bit. They can win at these super speedway tracks, and they know that. So I feel like they really hone in on these races, right? So I have no problem giving Dillon a try. We obviously talked about Briscoe. Todd Gilliland, I'm a firm member of the Gilly gang. I will try him. I'm probably going to fade PJ McLeod and JJ Yaley this weekend just because of the type of race it is. And you can see how crazy their odds are compared to everybody else. I will say, though, JJ Yaley is probably by far the slowest car in the field. BJ McLeod, however, was very optimistic. Okay. This is the same car he was going to run in the Daytona 500. He had a parts failure, an off-the-truck parts failure that led to him exiting the race early. They have fixed that failure, and he should be full steam ahead. Should you play him? I will let that entirely up to you. But he is positive about his chances. He's positive about his motor, so you don't know what's going to happen. Is there anybody else I wanted to talk about? The top 5 DOMs, the very used cash plays, and everybody else. Hey, no, that's it. It's like I said, it's hard to talk about this kind of stuff when there's literally no practice, no qualifying to talk about. At most, one, in my opinion, of these Dominator plays, Reddick, Logano, Elliott Keselowski, or Byron. If you want to group some of those other players up there too, by all means. And then chasing our place differential plays, and don't be afraid to pivot off of some of these highly owned drivers to some of the lesser owned drivers to give you the chance to score just as highly. Again, I do feel that tire wear will come into play, but we're just taking a guess because we actually haven't seen these tires on the track yet. So that is going to be it for me for this weekend. Hopefully next weekend the weather cooperates and we get practice and qualifying at COTA, which is a road course. Good luck in all of your contests. And as always, let's ship it. What? Why can't I play the video?